what we were looking at for that study, the association between PRLs and proteomic levels, is previous studies had showed an association between paramagnetic lesions and serum neurofilament light, which is a marker of axonal degeneration. So this was exciting for people because it really gave a biological basis saying, hey, look, these type of active lesions are in fact associated with, having greater, destruction of brain tissue. And so we wanted to look at this again and kind of confirm the results on our data set. And so what we did is we took 141 people who had baseline MRIs and also baseline serum proteomic levels. And we had 80 people who had a follow-up 5 years later of serum proteomic levels. And we assessed serum neurofilament light, but we also assessed a whole panel of other markers, including GFAP, which is a marker of astrocyte activation, which is also thought to be predominant in paramagnetic lesions or chronic active disease. So somewhat surprising to us was that we actually didn't reproduce the results of this previous study, either in the baseline, at the first visit, or over the follow-up. Now, we have some thoughts as to why this might be the case. Probably the most likely of which is our cohort in this case was older than the previously published studies and had greater disease duration. And so this discrepancy could explain why we didn't see the results they saw. And it could also be an interesting, point to jump off and in future studies to evaluate, is in all cases it necessarily the case where there are these associations between the type of lesions and the proteomic levels? Or are there some cases where maybe it's less strong of an association? Again, I think it comes down to potentially looking at in which cases there are these associations between these molecular markers and these imaging markers. Now, of course, this work will need to be replicated in the future potentially for this to really stand up. But, again, I think it comes down to in which cases, at what point in the disease are these associations present? And potentially, are there points in the disease where they aren't present, and really asking why that is the case? And I think that really would help us to understand what the molecular basis for these paramagnetic lesions or other types of disease activity are at various points throughout the disease.